Well, we're back again, and I want to introduce to you a young man who I just recently met. He's a grandson of one of my very best friends from the Alliance of California Artists. She's an excellent artist and a wonderful friend, and I got to meet her grandson, David Blumer. So he has agreed to come in, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy everything he says. Okay. Hi there.
Hi, Carol.
How you doing,
Thank you
David?
for that introduction. I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm so glad to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay. I usually start out by trying to find a little bit about what made you the man you are today. When you were a child, everybody dreams of what they want to be when they get older. What did you think you wanted to be then?
Well, that's a fun question to answer. Amongst all the typical responses you could think of from any average little boy, police officer, a fireman, things like that. Actually, to be honest, I really had a little bit more of a grandiose imagination as a child, and I kind of always saw myself doing something on a massive scale, business-wise. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I knew that based on my upbringing that I loved music, so I knew I wanted that to be incorporated into it somehow, some way. And
Right.
so I had this natural appreciation for the arts, and I grew up around a bunch of musicians who were also artists and some entrepreneurs, some business owners. And so I think that just based on that upbringing alone, being in that environment, surrounded by those kinds of people, that it really allowed my imagination to flourish. And so I didn't really have those typical policemen, firemen, careers that I wanted to be when I was a little boy. It was more so that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to make an impact on the world, and I wanted it somehow to relate to the arts.
That is fantastic. I love that because it's amazing. All of our guests, it seems like from the time they were a child, they knew what their mission was when they came in this time, and they're ready to do it. And they don't, even if they don't know what's the first step or anything, but it's there in their heart, that they want to do that. And what I'm so happy to have you here today is because a lot of the people that we have come in, they're a long way into their art or they've already written a book or something, which is fantastic. But to have somebody who is still working toward that dream, this is exciting to me, really exciting. And I know that you have already started in a small way to get started on your authorship and your art, which is exciting. I know that you just recently graduate from college?
That's correct.
Well, I know how busy that is and how many things that you have to do. And all you can do, I know you just kept those things really deep down inside. I want to do those when I'm not so busy.
Yes.
So you're working now, I'm sure.
That's right. And to touch on all of that, I would recommend to any viewers or listeners to tell any child if they have an idea about what it is that's deep down within them that they want to bring out into the world, tell them to write it down or something, because as you get older, you definitely tend to forget. And I'll admit, I almost lost sight of what it was that I came here to contribute. So that would be my talk to that. Also, amongst being a student, I'm a student of many things. I graduated from Fresno State in spring through the Accelerated Bachelor's in Business Administration program, which was a 15-month program that got me in and out of my last 2 years of studies rather quickly. No breaks, 15 months straight through with a cohort of 25 other students who were also adults working while attending school. So that was an interesting environment for me to be in, and it gave me a lot of opportunity to learn from people that I probably usually wouldn't have met if I had gone the more traditional route in terms of attending a college. And since then, I'll be honest, I'm rather lazy by nature. So part of being a student entails me learning how to be more efficient and more effective in the work that I do and the work that I produce. So I feel like my connection with art as a child really helped me learn and develop and adapt to the changes that we all experience constantly in our day-to-day lives. And so I study a lot of business growth development tactics too, such as, how to be more productive throughout your day. I took this course called Wake Up Productive. It was a pretty comprehensive course that taught you how to double your productivity in 90 days or less. And so I'm learning how to, we all have busy schedules, and all it comes down to is organization of your time and priorities. Like you said, we have that deep desire in our heart that we kind of put off to the side sometimes for the sake of what we have busy going on right now. And I agree with you that it's important to set aside and make special time to create and express yourself freely towards the desire or the wish that we all carry within us.
That's fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, don't worry about being lazy, because there's nobody more in the world that's lazy but me. But when that opportunity comes along, all of a sudden, you get the energy, and you just go. It's just like the universe comes in with you. It's okay, let's go. So don't worry about the lazy part. The main thing is you know what you want. That's the first thing. It's the most important thing.
Definitely.
So many people don't know what they don't want to do, so they end up doing nothing. So you've got your foot out in the front there. You're going to go.
Definitely.
So what have you done towards finding a little bit of time for your writing? Have you been able to work on that at all? Right.
So the business I started is called Scale Media ROI, LLC.
Wow.
Basically, it's just 3 words that kind of encompass the idea or the vision that I have, not only for my business, but for my life's mission. And the book is going to essentially teach people and business owners how to either start a business or, more specifically, scale a business that they already have using a business model that's set up to help leverage scale through different media channels to generate explosive returns on investment.
Wow.
I study a lot of business owners diligently, and I'm currently working with some local entrepreneurs who have recently launched their first mobile app, and I'm working with them to get that out into the hands of other users in different cities right now.
Yeah.
At the same time, I just partnered with a product development team to create another application that's going to be more geared towards the education field and helping administrators do their job a little easier and streamline a process that's been kind of cluttered, and the process has been in need of some revamping, so to speak. So the book, that I'm working on will touch on how to use scalable business models that leverage media tactics to increase returns on investment in your business. And that's for business owners and anybody even looking to start a business.
Well, you can probably help me market my books.
I might be able to.
Anyway, you're another step ahead with having the business acumen. Most artists don't have that. We can create, but we don't know how to sell it.
Right.
How do you get it out there to people that would really appreciate it and want to buy it? So that's really good too. That's going to help you in many, many ways as you go.
It's useful.
Yeah, and I have an interest in music too, don't you?
I do, and currently I'm working on some compositions that I don't want to classify their genre yet. I'd rather let people listen for it and experience it for themselves. But from a lyrical standpoint, I'm into poetry too, and philosophizing, and theater, and then predominantly music. So I hope to, mix all those ingredients in with my music and everything that we've spoken on thus far, even as well, into my music compositions to kind of help aid in the listener's experience of the knowledge and information that I have, and that's pretty much free information. You know, I believe in business. There's this tactic I like that's called move the free line. Give as much value up front for free initially, and the psychology behind it is that, you know, then that person who's on the receiving end, you know, if that's something that really is going to help them, that they believe will, they get that for free, and then they think, wow, he gave me all this value for free. What else does he have to offer that I can pay him for?
I think that's exactly perfect.
Mm-hmm. So that's just a little tip for artists as well too, because I understand that it is difficult to sell when you're working from a purely creative standpoint, and to add into that mix from a business idea. You know, a lot of people are in this me mindset. You know, what's in it for me? So best way to get around that is to give them your best stuff for free and let them come back for more.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. I want to get a web page for my books, and I think I would probably give the prologue away first or something like that. But I was also thinking of giving something so that get them interested in it, because everybody that's read them really loved them, and the reviews were good. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
But I just want to get into where I can start selling them, and
Right.
because you didn't know this, but these books are donated to the Actors Fund, and they helped me so many times when I was a starving artist, and I just want to give back so that it help other people like me, because it's rough. Show business is probably one of the roughest things you can get into.
Yes, I can only imagine. I haven't experienced show business yet, but I hope to.
Well, you're interested in drama, so that's show business.
Yes, definitely.
If it didn't have the writing, there wouldn't be any use for actors.
Yeah, very true. Wouldn't be able to tell a story the way that we love to.
So, are you still around your family? Or are you?
Yeah, so my family's local. I recently moved to downtown Fresno from Clovis, which is where I was originally raised and went to school. I was also kind of raised in Fresno by my grandparents. I remember my mom would wake up extra early and drive me to my grandparents' house from Clovis to Fresno early in the morning so that my grandparents could watch me for a few hours before they took me to kindergarten, which was all the way back in Clovis. So it didn't really make much sense to me, but I went along with it regardless, and kind of experienced, you know, both spectrums of living in Fresno and Clovis.
And does your family support you on the artist side of you?
You know, I for me, it's something that's kind of really personal and private, but at the same time, I want to share it with everybody. And so, you know, I'm kind of fragile, and when it comes to my ideas, I don't really like people to experience them unless, you know, I'm specifically asking for feedback or I'm ready to, you know, accept what's coming to me. So,
very smart.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm very careful about that and making sure.
Yeah, one of my biggest weaknesses is being criticized, because I know in my heart, if it isn't perfect, that's not important. The point that I did it and I accomplished it, I say I do be very careful about the way you criticize me, because I'll take it. You know, if I really believe it's valid, I'll appreciate it, but it still hurts.
Yes, and there is a way to do it so that it doesn't sting so badly. Definitely, we could all learn from. You just reminded me, there's another mentor of mine who I like to study and follow. His name's Stuart Wilde. He's an author too, and he says, you know, some artists, and this could be kind of a harsh truth for some, but some artists suffer from what's called too much ego, too little God force. And what that means is, like you just touched on, you created it. It came from you, so you kind of have this ownership about it. It's like your baby. And if you're an artist who just wants to create freely for the sake of creativity, then that's great, But if you're trying to be an artist and maybe earn some money from it, then you got to think a little different, because now it's not just you that's involved. You're engaging with customers, people who want their art done a certain way too. So if you're willing to accept maybe some feedback from the people who you want buying your art, instead of just people who are there to criticize, but actually listen to the buyers that you want to attract, then you can kind of blend your creativity into their creativity and make something that's entirely different and unique and even more special, because now it's something that you've shared with somebody on an emotional level, because you have to go through that process to create art. And now it's something they want because you created it based on that, and you're more likely to make a sale and earn money from your art because you've agreed upon the art and then you went out and created it and gave it to them.
Yeah, that's really, I love that. That's really true. You put nowadays, like your art, you put it in a gallery, and somebody comes and sees it, and they walk by. Oh, I love it! It's beautiful. But they keep walking by this way, and so I had a sale at the Fresno Art Hub gallery, and I didn't know anything about it until she called me and told me. So there was no chance to really talk to the person or know what they wanted or anything. It just went. But I was very happy it went.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but
that's wonderful.
The arts are hard because there's so many people who don't realize the importance of art. I mean, everything here, tables, chairs, everything that we have has an artist in it at some point. So artists need to be appreciated.
Definitely.
And the way you'll appreciate them is you go and you look at things and look at them seriously. Wonder about what did they mean when they did that art or something. Somewhere along the line it may click. Says, oh, that's something that means a lot to me. I want to buy that.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. It's about meaning, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But you do connect with people without actually seeing them. Your reputation will connect with people. Somebody says something really nice about you, and that's gonna make a difference in your life. So I'm so appreciated, because I know most of my life I was alone until I was 65. I had to run everything. But I put things together, but I never really connected that well with the people that were helping me. Capricorns have a habit of wanting to do everything. But I realize now I finally have found somebody who is with me, believes in me, and wants to help me, wants it to be successful. What a change in my life. I'll tell you, it's just so wonderful to have somebody really be there for you and want to help you. Because I put a whole show together at the Tower Theater. I did it. I did everything. The same old me. I did all the costumes. I did everything. But it got me nowhere, like you say, you have to find somebody that connects with you. And that's really helpful. That's helpful for any artist, I think.
Yeah, that is helpful. And if I can add to that too, another helpful tip as well, I think a lot of us, if not all of us, can relate to feeling alone at some point or another in our lives. And I learned another business tactic that might be useful here, especially from an artist standpoint. It's called a customer avatar. And the concept from a business standpoint is that you have your specific market that you want to solicit your product or services to, and you go inside your mind internally and you create this customer avatar, which is someone who you believe would be your best customer. You know, all the details you can think of, their name, their hair color, what they like to wear, what they like to do, they don't like, everything. Do they have kids? You know, how much money, what kind of job do they have? If you can imagine that, and this is why it relates to art, is because it's an imaginative process. If you can imagine that person in as much detail as possible, and while you're working on your business, you create, basically, it's like having an imaginary friend from like a kid's standpoint, and you keep that customer avatar in a dialogue back and forth with you from the business point of perspective, and then you go to the customer avatar and you have that dialogue, you open up that dialogue, and then you can find out more about how to serve them the best way. And how this relates to what we were talking about being alone is that same thing. You know, if you have this desire to share your life with another individual, the best way you can do that to make sure you find the right person for you the quickest way possible without having to go through the challenge of, you know, meeting all the wrong people first and finding out what it is you don't like. Of course, that's still a good process to go through. However, if you were to imagine and create that individual that you really want to share your life with, internalize it first and almost treat them like they were there with you as you're going, eventually you guys are going to meet some way or another. That's just how the law of attraction works. You attract what you want and you repel what you don't want.
That's fantastic, because that's just what happened to me. I was looking for an artist to do the covers of my books, and I tried different things, and nothing worked out. And the lady from my church, chaplain at my church, says, well, you know, there's a gentleman in our church that is a graphic artist. He says, maybe get in touch with him. And all of a sudden, I went to speak to him, and it's just like, boom, like we'd known each other forever. We were just so close in every way, spiritually in every way. And I thought, oh, my God, I finally got a partner. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's lovely, wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And do you have anything else you want to say about your art today?
About my art, you know, just be on the lookout. I'll make sure everybody who views this, or if you're in Fresno or Clovis, you're definitely going to hear about the book I'm producing for Scale Media ROI, as well as any musical compositions that come in the future. And eventually I'll be uploading tips to the internet on, you know, how I manage adaptation in this world of constant change.
That's fantastic. I'm just hoping that you will come back, won't you?
Oh, I would love to.
As you know, as different things start happening, we want to hear about it, because
yes, I'll give you an update.
We want to see this growth in the art part of your life.
Yeah, I'd love that. I would love to share that with you, definitely.
Okay, thank you, David, for coming in, and we'd really enjoyed it so much.
Thank you so much, Carol.
Thank you. We'll be right back.